You think you know your house? What if I told you there's a part of it you've never truly seen, a part that might be watching you right now? We all think of our homes as safe places, right? Four walls, a roof, maybe a basement, an attic. But what about the spaces in between? The hidden cavities, the dark voids no one ever talks about. What if I told you that in my own house, in one of those forgotten places, something made a home? And what I found, or rather what found me, will make you check every single vent in your home tonight. I grew up in a place that was a little off. Not a creepy old mansion, just a regular split-level house. But my bedroom was in this weird spot. It wasn't quite upstairs with my parents, and it definitely wasn't in the chilly basement. It was right in the middle, a kind of in-between zone. And because of where it was, I heard everything. Every creak, every groan, every sound amplified by the quiet of the night. Most nights, it was the usual house noises. But then there were the other sounds. Footsteps above me, muffled and rhythmic. Footsteps below me, heavier, slower. But here's the thing that always got me. I never heard footsteps on my floor, not a single one. It was like my level was a silent island, a neutral zone. And the pacing. Oh, the pacing. It always stopped right outside my door. One deliberate step, a long, agonizing pause, then another step. My parents just shrugged. "Houses settle," they'd say. "You're imagining things." But I knew the difference between a house settling and something moving, breathing, waiting. The summer I turned 12, the heat was brutal. My room, being in the middle, always felt a little stuffy. One sweltering night, I was trying to sleep, just staring at the ceiling, when, with a soft clatter, the air vent right above my bed popped loose and fell onto my rug. It wasn't broken, just dislodged. So, being a curious kid, I grabbed my flashlight and leaned in to peer into the dark opening, expecting to see dust bunnies and maybe a lost toy. But as the beam cut through the gloom, something moved. Something blinked. A dark, unblinking eye staring right back at me from the shadows. My breath hitched. My heart hammered against my ribs like a trapped bird. I didn't scream. I couldn't. I just fell backward, scrambling away from that tiny, terrifying window into the void. The next morning, I was a mess, practically dragging my dad to my room. He probably thought I'd had a nightmare. But when I pointed to the gaping hole where the vent had been and mumbled about an eye, he just sighed and grabbed a crowbar. He started tearing the wall open, probably to prove to me that there was nothing there, just empty space. But as the plasterboard gave way, a different kind of emptiness appeared. No one was there, no person, no monster. Yet the space wasn't truly empty. The insulation was flattened, molded into a makeshift bed. There were crumpled food wrappers, dry and brittle, pushed into a corner. And on one of the wooden studs, scratched deeply into the grain, were dozens, maybe hundreds of carved tally marks. Someone had been counting. Counting what? The days? The steps? The times I stopped listening? The police came, looked, and left, shaking their heads. No one could live in here, they insisted, not an adult. But the evidence was clear. Something had lived there. Something had been watching. Winter finally came, and with it, a chilling silence. The footsteps stopped. The pacing vanished. I never heard another sound from the spaces between the floors. I convinced myself it was over, that whatever it was, it had finally moved on. Years later, long after I'd moved out and started my own life, the old house was finally sold. A few months after the new family moved in, I got a call from my dad. He sounded different, gravelly. He told me the new owners had been doing some renovations, tearing out an old wall in what used to be my room. They found a mattress, A thin, grimy mattress, shoved deep inside the wall cavity, right next to where my bed had been, and with it, a small, worn notebook. My dad said the last page only had 5 words, written in a cramped, shaky hand. They finally stopped listening. If you're still listening, you should check out this next video to hear another story that will keep you up at night.